Hey guys, welcome to another video. I wanted to make this video so bad like a week ago, but I was like, no. I'm gonna wait. I gotta wait to make sure I break them in before I make this video, and like played with them for at least like a minimum of 2 weeks. Like seriously, minimum of 2 weeks. I don't know how people like YouTubers and all that, like maybe they probably have gotten them early or something, but like how the hell do they just go from unboxing and then giving you their opinion? It's like insane. I'm like, you try on pretty much any cleat, and one, they'll feel a little bit stiff, and then two, they'll feel pretty comfortable for the most part because you haven't really ran around the field and like jumped around, touched the ball enough to really like give it a good push for its like money. And like seriously, it's kind of like baffling. Even like soccer.com and like all these guys, like super cool that they put up the videos because I'm watching them for sure. But like I wish they gave you like just a first impression instead of calling it like a full-on review. So I have these cleats, you guys already know by the title. I got the Nike Zoom Mercurial Superfly 9s right here, guys. So sick, this yellow colorway. These gravitated to me so quickly because I was looking for a really bright color that wouldn't like obviously get dirty super quick. And as you can tell, they definitely are dirty, but at least they don't show any like crazy scuffs when people like step on you or anything. But they are so flipping nice, and I want to give you my honest opinion after wearing them for about 2.5 weeks now, and I love them. Let me just spoil that right now. I flipping love these cleats. Now I do own the Superfly 8s, and I flipping love those cleats, but this is on a whole different game. It's not even close. Honestly, it's kind of crazy how they were able to make such big changes. And based off my reviews I've seen, a lot of people don't really think it's like a major upgrade, but I really feel like these are amazing. I did have the Superfly 8s in low tops, and I still do. They're in the closet there, and I'll compare the two later. But I went with the high top variant this time around because I really wanted to just give it a go. I usually don't like the high top variants. Like all the other Superflies I've got in high top, and I absolutely hated it. I felt like it was super stiff and like locked in my ankle way too much. So that's why I went with the Superfly 8s and got them in low top just to switch it up. And I was super happy with them. But I don't know, for me personally, the high top variant always looks like super clean and just different on the field. So I just figured I would cross my fingers and just hope that these were better than all the other high top Nike variables that I've gotten before. So happy to say that I am super happy with these high tops. They're so flipping comfortable, guys. I am telling you, I was able to break these in less than like an hour and a half of gameplay. Now I was playing like high intense soccer, so it was like super hot. It was about like 90 degrees out. I was sweating, and the only place that I really got like a kind of like a pressure point, which was annoying, was right here. I was getting like this really weird pressure point right here, and kind of like in the forefoot right there. So those like two spots were like the pressure points, but after like an hour and a half to 2 hours of playing them, I was able to like feel at home with them. The upper did feel a little bit stiff, but not like in the sense of like really constricting. It was more like the sole plate. I felt like just wasn't like bending the same way that it usually does when I'm wearing cleats. So I just felt like that usually broke in like the following day. I wore them right after playing in that session for 2 hours. I wore them again for about another 2 hours playing, and they were broken in. They felt so good, and I was so impressed because usually in like the Superfly 8s that I played in, I was getting blisters like around my toe area. So on my big toe, on the outer part right there, I would get a blister, or like in my little pinky toe, I get a weird blister. But personally speaking, I've never got any blisters out of these, and I don't know if that's just me or anything, but I felt fantastic. Something that was like super exciting about these that really turned me on to them is the stud pattern. Now I know it's not like super big But you know, it is a difference, and you can definitely feel it on the field. So in the Superfly 8, they really had like these like almost like arrow shaped studs that were like really aggressive, and they were great when I was just running forward or like running back, because they gave me fantastic traction in the Superfly 8s. But in the Superfly 9s, they did change the stud formation to kind of like a 3-point like star stud, and these really made a big difference here. Let me tell you guys, now instead of feeling like I can run forward and backwards quick, now I really do feel like I can pivot left, right, up, down. Like I felt like so mobile and like in a really good way. Like I felt swift, and just talking about it gets me excited because I just want to put them on again. But seriously, I'm telling you, I felt really agile when I was moving with the ball, turning with the ball. I've recovered from 2 ACL tears, and that's something that Mercurials is like kind of scary to wear sometimes, because when you get like that really aggressive traction, you can start feeling it in your knees. If you've had ACL tear, trust me, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you're like, yes, I totally get it. But if you're a Mercurial guy and you've been like looking for something that's not as aggressive in regards to traction, it kind of gives you that flexibility to pivot and turn and feel like confident with your turn, especially after like an ACL tear, I just really would recommend these, because as you can tell, the stud pattern is rounded more here. So it really doesn't like grip onto the turf like extremely hard in a really good way. I think that it's like a perfect balance between like being too aggressive and just allowing you to have enough traction to change direction without feeling like you like literally are leaving your foot on the ground and then just burning away. So I really love that, and I hope that's something that they keep with these cleats. I really love this stud formation. It is like super comfortable. And also with the Superfly 8s, I had a lot of pressure points, especially with this stud for some reason while I was breaking them in. And the Superfly 8s took me like about 3 weeks to like fully feel confident with them. But these, I can literally tell you, I broke them in like less than 2 or 3 days. It was like the craziest thing. Maybe it was the hot temperature out there when I was playing or something, but it felt so good. And I never got any like crazy pressure points, which made me really happy because my feet weren't like yelling at me after I was done playing. Let's go over the upper really quick. So I really like this texture that they have there. It's really nice, and when the ball's like wet and the field's wet, it really gives you really nice traction and like not a slippery touch. So definitely this upper material that they're using is really responsive. Like it feels good. Obviously it's not like a flipping Predator, guys, but I'm talking about like speed boot control. Like it feels good. Like I didn't feel like the ball was just like sliding off my foot. I felt that kind of like the Superfly 8s too. Like when I got it touched, for some reason, it kind of felt like when the ball was touching my foot, kind of like slide off if it was like past me really firmly and the ground was like extremely wet. But with these, I felt like I was able to get enough traction where I felt like I was comfortable with like turning and just like not even worrying about getting that first good touch because the traction was there for me. So this upper really made me feel confident on the field, and I was super happy with it. It's really responsive, and obviously I'm not talking about like your power boost or anything, but for a speed boot, I felt really confident with touching the ball and turning and getting an inside touch. Everything felt like fantastic. Now let's go over the sock portion here. The sock portion on these Nikes feels so flipping good, guys. As you can tell, there's pods in there. I don't know if you can see that, but right there and right there on both sides of the heel, there's a pod, and obviously like it kind of just wraps around like a half circle right there, if you can see. Right there, boom. But I'm really glad they added that. I think that's what we're missing with the other like cleats. That pod really helps out with like getting you good lockdown without having the sock feel really constricting. And I really like how they made the sock like, I don't know how they did it, but the way they cut the sock this time around, doesn't feel as constricting on my ankle. So I'd really recommend, if you guys have been scared to like try the high top versions, I would recommend just going with the high tops with this one. You won't turn back. You'll probably just fall in love and always go high top after this. Hopefully they keep this kind of sock lining because it is so comfy and it gives you like enough lockdown to kind of give you like that sensation that your foot's really part of your full leg. If you go with like the non-ankled version, it always felt like, you know, you're like feel airy and like nice, and your ankle's like nice and loose and ready to go. And that's why like I always went with the low top version and stayed away from the high tops, because the high top usually like hugged my ankle or like my Achilles too tight and always give me kind of like a pressure point right here. But I think with this like foam posit or pad that they put and the way that they cut the sock portion of this high top, it just feels really good and not that constricting. Now it does give you obviously like the sensation that your like ankle is part of your leg kind of sensation, so it is a little constricting. It's definitely like something you do feel, but you get used to it. Like after like 5 minutes of playing with the cleats, or like 10 minutes, you do tend to like totally forget that you're wearing high tops, which is really nice, because on the other high top variants I've gotten in the 7, 8s and like all that good stuff, I just personally felt like I hated it. It felt really constricting, felt like it was like locking down my foot, and like I couldn't like exactly like turn because it was so tight on my ankle. But on this variant, on these guys, it feels so good. On the Superfly 9s, I don't know how they did it, but it feels really nice. I think it does come down to as well, like the way that I cut the sock here, right here, instead of like going across here. That little cut may give you like enough space for you not to feel like super constricted when you're in the cleat. Now, lockdown in these cleats is outstanding. Super happy. Don't get any heel slippage, and that's probably why I don't get any blisters. So I really would recommend, if you're looking to getting some Mercurial Vapors, like just flip and do it this year. You need to do it for yourself for the season. And let's just talk about the main point on these cleats. So they have the air zoom. Obviously, technology supposed to allow you, give you more bounce and like more response. Now, I would say I don't necessarily feel like I'm like faster or can get to the ball quicker or feel like it's a bouncy sensation that I'm flying by people like all the time because I'm wearing these. I don't feel that way, but what I do feel is that it's comfortable. Like these soles and the air zoom posit, I'm not sure if it like really gives you that force that they're saying, that return from it, but I will say it does make the cleats very comfortable and super cushiony feeling. It feels so good. Like I'm telling you, my arc of my foot doesn't hurt, my heel does not hurt. So I feel like I'm super happy with the air zoom, and I hope it's something that continues moving on with all the other cleats that they make, because it is awesome. It definitely just makes the cleats so much more comfy. All right, guys, so pros for these cleats: traction, love it. Air zoom, iffy, obviously, kind of a gimmick, but kind of there. Definitely makes the cleats more comfy, in my opinion, but doesn't give you like any crazy abilities. Doesn't make you feel like Spider-Man or something. And obviously, love the collar now around. They fixed it, feels good. Lockdown is amazing. Texture on the upper feels really good, responsive, and I just feel really confident on the ball. Love the lining of the sock here, very breathable, and it's super nice. It really doesn't feel like my feet are burning, and I love the overall colorway. So I'm super happy with these cleats. I would literally give them like a 9.5 out of 10. There's always something to fix. The only negative that I would really think of that came to mind for me is potentially still the sock. I feel like there's something that they can just touch on just a little bit more to make it just like perfect, because you always do feel like it's there, like especially when you put on your cleats for the first like 5 minutes, like I was saying, you do feel it and it just goes away. So I feel like there's something that they can do with this sock to just like kind of get rid of that sensation and still give you like that performance that makes you like feel like you're grounded with the cleat. And I know it's going to be tricky, obviously, but I feel like they're really close to making the sock perfect, and I hope that they keep working with this formula and with the air zoom to make this cleat so much more comfy, because it is awesome. Like, I am super impressed. I was super impressed with the Superfly 8s, but now that I have these guys, I'm not even looking back to any cleats. I don't even care what other cleats are coming out, because I'm so happy with these. So make sure to cop them, and then I'll do a comparison next week with the Superfly 8s and 9s and what my major gripes are regarding both of these cleats, or like, are they comparable? As you already can probably tell, I'm definitely a Superfly 9 guy. And please, please guys, if you guys are looking to get the low top or the high top version, just get the high top version. I'm telling you, it'll make a big difference, and you're gonna be a lot happier that you did. I feel like they just did a really good job with this cleat. Like, this is a really, really good cleat, guys. I'm telling you, if you like Mercurials, or were like iffy about them now, you should definitely try them. Just try them, please. All right, guys, thanks so much for staying tuned. Make sure to subscribe. I'm gonna be putting a lot more soccer content out here, because I'm feeling good out here. Finally, fully recovered from my ACL tear that happened about a year ago. So I'm excited to jump on the field and play with these bad boys. So stay tuned.